I've recycled and kept all my Captain Planet action figures from 1991. I'm gonna go through, show them all to you, talk about the toy line in general, and the show as we go through them all. I played with these a ton as a kid. Whatever you think of the concept, either way, I really liked the idea of the power rings and summoning the superhero. I like that idea. So I just kept all my toys and they look pretty played with, but I'm going to show them to you here anyway. I'm going to start with From Africa. It's Kwame. All the figures are pretty much a 5-pointer with just up and down arms and legs, and then just a turning head. You can hear a little creak there. Of course, they all had their rings on the action figures. Of course, that's the spot that the paint would start to chip first. You can tell I really played with these a lot, with a lot of paint chips and things. Thing is about Kwame right off the bat here, did not have a single release. He actually came with Ma-T. It was like a 2-pack sort of thing. We have Kwame with Earth here and Ma-T with Heart. And they came together in a pack. Of course, the general gimmick of the whole toy line was that they came with their rings, like a wearable type, where you as a kid could actually wear them and use them. Unfortunately, I've lost some. I do still have the Earth ring that came with Kwame. Of course, there's a smaller hole here for kid to be playing with, not me. So they both came with their rings. Thing is, I kept the old card backs on some of them here. I feel like you could tell here the single release, Kwame was actually supposed to come with some accessories, supposed to come with a compass, and it looks like maybe some binoculars and a backpack. And then here you can see Ma-T was supposed to come with a satchel, a kind of native spear since he was from South America. And looks like he was supposed to come with Suchi, his pet monkey. We did not get a Suchi in the toy line, so I think these were supposed to get individual releases with their accessories. They just condensed them down into kind of a 2-pack, worried maybe one might not sell. They were worried with too many Ma-Ts hogging up the shelves, being a shelf warmer, but if he came with that sweet monkey, I always saw the backs of these cards and thought, dang, where are those versions? I want those. Here's a card back of the kind of Wave 1 where they didn't even show the figure photos. They just showed photos from the cartoon. There you can see the Captain Planet Wheeler and then the 2-pack of Kwame and Ma-T. Same price as just a single figure. Just included the two. Just kind of an interesting bit about these two figures. Wish they would have came with some more accessories, but they're just pretty basic. Again, Ma-T has the same kind of articulation. He has a little bit of up and down. I like that their costume and colors were pretty much on par with the show. He has kind of his feather armbands here, his necklace covering up some of his Planeteer shirt. They looked pretty close to their cartoon counterparts. Call me crazy, but Ma-T's heart power is actually pretty strong because he could communicate with the animals, he could kind of communicate with people psychically, could kind of read minds if he needed to. Just kind of the general, psychic powers where it's kind of harder to control. Pretty useful, especially when the team would split up, using that heart power to be able to communicate. I mean, they didn't all have cell phones back then, so... And even if they were captured, his powers would work. So underrated Planeteer with heart. Of course, Kwame with Earth, kind of controlling the ground and rock, kind of doing the earthquake stuff. He was actually kind of the leader. It's a very sensible character and everything, so... He had like awesome colors with this red and blue with this kind of strange greens here and there. It's just really cool. Shirt kind of coming out from behind, blue boots. I did like that they would always have their little extra accessories here, a little bracelet and stuff, different colors on each side. So next we would have the infamous Wheeler figure. He actually has a lot more head articulation going on because he's kind of got like a ball down in there, but otherwise just the same motion here. Now of course he's got this hole in here and he's got a trigger on the back. His power was fire on the show. There you can see his chipped red ring there. But the idea was you would flick this and there's actually like some flint in there that would kind of scrape and spark. And you'd see the light up here. You kind of get his fire power going. Seems kind of unsafe thinking back now. That's just an open hole instead of like maybe a clear covering that you could see the spark inside. But of course the flint has worn off. I would have done this like a zillion million times when I got this figure over and over. So once the effect was pretty much done for, I always played with these in the water and stuff anyway, play in the sink or a swimming pool or something. So his fire's long been extinguished, but that was kind of his feature just going forward. He's got his untucked shirt, just like the cartoon. Crazy redhead from North America. So he was kind of the American proxy in the show, like, I didn't know nothing about no pollution, derp. And then of course all the others are like, oh yes, we know all about this. So he was like the dumb one that had to be taught. Us dumb Americans. Oh. But he was still my favorite anyway. Nice jacket, bro. We have Linka from Eastern Europe. The show did have her from the Soviet Union at first, but then that went away, so I had to change her up there. I don't know why they make the girls be so tiny here. They were pretty much the same height in the cartoon, so I don't know why the shrinking of them, but you can see the very worn out ring on the finger. Again, these all came with like their kind of toy ring. But Linka came with this backpack, and inside was a parachute. You'd hook up and put in a tab in her back here, and then she had her helmet. Kind of use the parachute, throw it up, you know, she'd float down just as like kind of a parachute toy, but with all the delicate strings and everything, I'm sure it ended up getting torn or dirty. That got kind of thrown out, and I just kind of use it as the figure to play, you know, Captain Planet without that feature. Just kind of an extra, kind of the wind element of her powers in the show with the flying parachute. I do keep the accessories, but I don't have the parachute itself anymore. I think she has a little less detail on the colors of her clothes, because the planet should be colored in some shade of blue or green or something, but they just did all yellow there. Still, I do like the variety on all of them, that they're all different colors in different ways. Different hair colors, different jackets, shoe colors. She's got these crazy green shoes. They look pretty awesome as a team together just for their kind of differences. And from Asia, Gi, which again, she's a little short. Power of water, and you got a hole in the back there. There's a very straight arm. If we can look at the ring, you can see there's a hole, because she's actually kind of a squirt gun. With her water power, she came with this kind of backpack that you would kind of squeeze, suck up some water in there. And that way it was removable. You could just have the figure, or you could put on this, put the water, and give her water shooting feature. So pretty useful. That's why it'd be awesome in the playing around in the sink or something like that, playing with water, that you have this. You wouldn't want to be shooting water all over your room or the living room or something. But she did have a cool water feature, and I like that it was removable, that wasn't just permanently on her back. You just have the figure, you know, once it dried out or something. Pretty nice. Again, interesting colors. It looks just like she does in the cartoon. Love their jacket and their Planeteer shirt. She has pink with the blue shorts. Pretty cool looking. Even little details like the necklace. And as typical, the toy lines got tons of Captain Planets. So here's the main release big guy himself, Captain Planet. This is the flight style one that did have some feature about whipping his arms up. This one doesn't seem to be too functional about it, but you'd hit the button and kind of swing the arms out. But also here is in the back, this little thing comes out and we got kind of a string. This does not want to stay. Okay, it's staying in place here. You can kind of swing him. He's flying by the thing. Whoa, whoa. What a feature. You know, kids can't just hold the leg and make him fly. You know, this somehow does something. He actually came with his own kind of Captain Planet ring, not something from the show. It says Captain Planet inside, but it had this hook. So you could wear your ring. I guess I'll go with my pinky finger. And it had this little hook here. It could kind of hook to this. And then it's flying. I don't know why you need the ring to hook this, why you can't just hold it. Many questions here, but I'm just showing the features that this was supposed to come with. As strange as they are. Yeah, that just is a hook there for the flight. And this is supposed to suck back in here if you... Okay, yeah, you just give it a yank and it goes back in. Just kind of the standard Captain Planet figure, but it did have a little bit of a feature. Pretty nice. Classic costume there with his Ronald McDonald face here. In the pilot episode, he didn't have boots for some reason. I always thought that was kind of weird. That's one cap. Let me just address this little mystery here. Commander Clash. Might be wondering why there's a Filipino soldier in the toy line. He's just from the one kind of famous multi-part episodes about villains of the show taking away their rings and making the evil copies of them. He helped kind of make some devices to mimic some of their powers so they had something to fight back with. So as a kid, I was always weirded out that they had this one, but they didn't have the Captain Pollution figure, character that appeared in the same multi-parts as Commander Clash. I'll get back to that later in this video. I could never find it when I was a kid. But he's just kind of an ally there. He's got this backpack with a little radar dish. Yoop, 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 yoop. And then this piece detaches. He's kind of got a gun, although it's kind of a radar dish, so it's maybe a listening device or something to that effect. He has some cool stuff, but again, he's just kind of not in very many episodes. He got his own figure, which is kind of weird. Especially an army guy, you know, with the camo, and he's got kind of a knife there. An interesting one for the line. So we'll go through the many Captain Planets here. Here we have kind of blue glove and boot. He does have a button on the back. Gives him a little quick flight, and his feature was supposed to be the color change, but I think just over time, and it's just permanent on here now. It's supposed to be cold water, hot water, kind of change up. I think maybe I ruined that by used to freeze action figures in the freezer. That might have messed him up a little bit, but you put the cold water, kind of have the pollution damage appear, and then the hot water make it go away. So again, that makes him more fun playing with them in the water. But just an extra Captain Planet there, so they could recolor, sell some extra ones. Pretty much the same mold as the other one. Here we're getting some wacky colors here. He's got kind of a silver. He has a little button here. I think was supposed to get him to spin. Doesn't seem to work much. He's moving a little bit. But then he was supposed to have two of these little Captain Planet discs. I can only find one for his wrist, but he's supposed to have them on both because he's kind of does a little spin attack sort of thing. Kind of the wind power maybe a little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think this was supposed to trigger it and spin him for you. Of course, then he has kind of floppy arms, so not the best figure. I mean, it was just a featured one. It was supposed to have an effect, but again, just a recolor and generally strange. Of course, I played with these quite a bit, so you got some paint chipping there on the nose. What is he, the Tin Man, or what is this? There's a strange one there. Okay. This is Arctic Camouflage Captain Planet. You want to know what his feature is? You're looking at it's just a recolor. They're just like Arctic Captain Planet. He blends in to the snow. It has no feature at all. It's just a Captain Planet figure that is white with some black. Just the basic motion. Came with like a black Captain Planet ring. Not a lot going on there. I think this is the point where there were some clearances happening, and so probably getting some of these for very cheap, like the Wind Captain Planet and this one's finding them in stores marked down to, $1 or $2. So some of these editions are just that, because I don't think this sold particularly well. This is probably another clearancey one, but kind of a cool feature. He's got some gold costume, but he is electronic. And I put some fresh batteries in here so we can check it out. I'm gonna hit the button.
Planeteer Alert!
Planeteer Alert!
I'm Captain Planet.
Well, that much we knew.
I'm Captain Planet. Power is yours.
The power is yours, and it has the light up, which is pretty cool looking.
Planeteer Alert!
Except he only has like the 3 phrases, so did go all out with a little feature there. We got light, we got sound, but again, he's just kind of a recolor. Probably would have been cooler to have the normal colors and then have this light up feature or the speech. Or perhaps the actual voice actor to do that instead of this guy.
I'm Captain Planet.
No, you're not. You're just a guy that works at Tiger Electronics that did the voice.
I'm Captain Planet.
I told you no! But again, I think this was probably a clearanced one because I don't know why I would have actually wanted this. So this is probably my favorite Captain Planet because he just looks like the standard Captain Planet figure. It doesn't have the weird arm thing that the other one was doing with the flip up and the flying. But this one came with some shiny red armor, the pollution armor. Unfortunately, I can't find a single piece of it to show. I'll just have to show some pictures of what it's supposed to be. I remember using it all the time, but for some reason I just can't find any of the pieces, which is pretty sad because it looked pretty awesome. That vac metalized shiny appearance. But mostly I just took it off because I like the standard Captain Planet. But here you can see, a lot of spots and things just from a lot of play with this particular one, because this was kind of my main Captain Planet figure once I got this one. Because once you take the armor off, he just looks like the standard one from the show. And he has this handy belt buckle that lets you know that he's Captain Planet. Alright, we gotta get into some of the eco-villains of the show that had even crazier action figures. Got Dr. Blight. Snazzy outfit here. He's kind of the scientist of the bunch here, and then her little feature here is that you could kind of move the hairpiece and see her disfigured face underneath while she was Dr. Blight. And has some blight growing on her face there. She screwed up her face doing some wacky experiment or something. Pretty infamous for when they copied the Planeteers rings. She got the copy of Heart. Her power was hate. I don't know what the hate power could do exactly, but she just used it to summon Captain Pollution. But always kind of wondered what hate would do just on its own. Kind of scary. Of course, she always had her computer With her, she came with this, the Mal, because he was malware, he was bad software, her AI computer that would help her. Had this little feature, flip it and get kind of the open face version there. Kind of like that this piece was kind of removable. Could have done things where you could get some machines of hers and you could snap Mal into place, but they never really made anything like that. It was just for flipping in this to get the two expressions. Just kind of a simple little kiosk, but perfect accessory for her that she always had her computer sidekick like this. It's Mal, voiced by Tim Curry in the cartoon, at least for a while. A lot of them had celebrity voices for a while until they were like, hey, I can't voice this dang cartoon all the time. Speaking of celebrity voices here, Verminous Skumm, voiced by none other than Jeff Goldblum, at least in a few early episodes until he gave it up. He's a rat guy, got a rat tail. Of course, then this piece was removable and you could see his hideous face underneath. And he's got a tall face. Of course, he's infamous for doing the kind of drug use episode. He was the drug dealer, making the drugs and getting the people addicted, and they were all the zombies and stuff. Good episode to watch. Pretty fun. He even got his own like helicopter released in the toy line. Always kind of wanted that one, but weirdly enough, all these go pretty expensive with the Captain Planet line. It's not really a sought-after thing, I wouldn't think, other than just for the sake of the toy collecting. It's not a popular cartoon like Ninja Turtle stuff and all that, so I don't know if they were just limited release or what the deal is, but they really pump up the price on Captain Planet stuff. Not sure why. He was supposed to come with a squirt gun backpack kind of thing. I seem to have lost it, but he did look pretty cool, and you can kind of imagine it being filled with the toxic waste, him spraying Captain Planet or something like that. He's a big guy. Kind of has some twisting articulation there. Very tall. Looks just like the cartoon, though, with his kind of black outfit and stuff. He always had this kind of shawl cover there. When they copied their Captain Planet's Planeteer rings, he had toxics instead of water. He had the water copy. Just had some toxic waste. Did everybody have this figure? It seemed like everybody ended up with this guy. Hoggish Greedly. Very subtle metaphor for a villain. He's another one that came with like a backpack squirt gun thing, but somehow I've lost that as well. He is like stubby. I don't think they ever made any of his various vehicles and things that he always had. I think he's the villain in the pilot episode. Really great face for the show and stuff, like cartoon. Looks just like it. Has this kind of outfit here. They never made his sidekick guy. Always had Rigger with him. Yeah, boss. Yip, yip. Would have been a cool one to have with him, but that's just me looking back at this as a collector now. I'm sure it would have been. If Captain Planet figures were warming the shelves, then I don't think Rigger would have sold particularly well, but pretty good one there. Got Sly Sludge. Kind of got some discoloring here. It's supposed to be the same color as the arms and legs, but something happened with him. He has a really nice costume with these gloves like this. Different color shoes kind of helps him pop there. Great face for the cartoon likeness. What a jerk. So he came with a sweet toxic waste barrel. With the lid could kind of open up. And he had a little packet kind of mix with water and make like a slime, like a toxic waste. Of course, once he made it one time, it was pretty much spent. You know, I tried to keep it inside there, keep it moist, but it always kind of dry up and eventually it was gone. So kind of a one-time use in there, but keep his little sludge bucket. Still played with that. Cool guy. I love these little short stubby dudes like that. He loves his toxic waste. He had the copy of the Wind ring. When they copied them, he had Smog. Smog. I don't know how this dude got an action figure. Argos Bleak, he's just the sidekick of Loot and Plunder, who didn't get an action figure. He was a main villain that was in several episodes. Just his bodyguard dude gets an action figure. Looks cool, but he was just kind of a side character. And he's just got the basic movement, but not sure how he got one. Kinda has this armor thing. Goes over, it has a missile launcher. I don't have the missile, but this is pretty much his accessory there. You can kind of wear this little armor piece. Not sure how Loot and Plunder didn't get a figure, and Zarm was another big one. And also Captain Pollution, which turns out did get a figure release, but apparently it was super limited, and I never got to see it. If I would have saw it, I would have definitely wanted to get it. Of course, now there's no way to get a hold of one, because everybody that has it wants a fortune for it. I'd love to add it to my collection, because it'd be awesome, but why they didn't release it too widely, I'm not sure. But by gosh, we got Argos Bleak, you know, everybody's favorite character. I'm very popular with the kids. Sure you are. And the super-powered mutant Duke Nukem, not to be confused with the video game character. He was like a nuclear creature, kind of absorb radiation, use it. He has a great face that looks like the show, but his outfit is all the wrong colors and things. So I'm not sure what happened with this. They did eventually release one that looked more like the cartoon, but possibly only in Europe. And I'd love to get that one, of course, but it's another one that's worth... Well, I don't know what it's worth, but I know what people are asking for it, so I guess they just want to keep it. So his feature, of course, is the glow in the dark. You can see how weird his skin is. It's just charge it up with some light and he glows in the dark, which was a really fun feature and stuff. But I just always hated that he didn't look anything like the cartoon. A little strange there. Another big dude, though. He had the copy of the Earth ring when they copied them, and he had just super radiation, which goes along with his powers just fine. Didn't the guy from Quantum Leap voice him originally? Pretty sure. Kind of weird, huh? Yeah! Of course, they did recolors of Captain Planet. They did a few recolors of some of the other Planeteers. Had different features. Here's like a wheeler that came with like a little mini tread kind of vehicle thing that transformed. Like... Oh yeah, he could just carry his vehicle on his back conveniently. Oh god, my back! I'm missing one of the tank tread pieces here, but so we kind of go out and you can kind of sit down in there, and it's just kind of a miniature vehicle. Not real easy to get down in there, but hey, you get the idea. But then it's just kind of like a wrong color costume, so just kind of weird. No spark inside, just basic figure. Then a Ma-T, so kind of a weird color here. I'm missing part of his, but his was kind of like a little vehicle thing too, with like a... Maybe this is the whole thing. No, this is just the stretcher. He just kind of had a stretcher thing. A rescue. How interesting. Not really. Let's just get to some vehicles. I got the Eco Cycle. Clear part here. And a kickstand. It's a little motorcycle vehicle there. I think it came with its own helmet, unless it's just another one from Linka. So they can be riding the motorcycle. I ended up with another one and like a lot, and it was kind of weird that the Eco Cycle was on different sides of these, so I don't know if one of these is like a Europe release or just a change or what happened with the flip-flop. Kind of weird. And I got the Geo-Cruiser. Didn't have this as a kid, so I just kind of looked on eBay, tried to get one at a reasonable price. Unfortunately, they made it only like a one-seater kind of vehicle. You see all the stickers inside and everything. But it does look cool like the show one. It has a button on the bottom here you hit to get the wings to pop out. It does have wheels that you can just kind of roll it, but typically you'd be flying it through the air. And it has kind of a hook you can kind of lift and do a rescue or something. It stays out, and then you can kind of wind it back up with this wheel here. That's a pleasant sound. But yeah, I definitely always wanted this vehicle as a kid, but never was able to get it. It was their primary form of transportation. There was like a sub toy, but I don't know what the heck you would have done with that. It's kind of weird. Weird choice there. There's actually a lot of other vehicles and such. There's the sub, which had some arms and things. Like I said, the Verminous Skumm helicopter. Like there's a helicopter for the Planeteers also. Kind of a cool garbage truck for the villains there. Not sure what this one is. I feel like this is a ripoff of a Swamp Thing toy, possibly, but I think this is a different company. I've never seen that in store. I don't know if that's maybe possibly an unreleased one, along with these garbage cans. It's a little unclear what got released and what didn't. Duke Nukem's nuclear reactor, where you can see the good Duke Nukem figure that actually looks generally like the cartoon one instead of the other one. A couple other Captain Planets there, this weird meteor one, and then another electronic one that does look more like just the standard Captain Planet. A couple lightning bolts. Never saw that one. Funny even here on this kind of later card back of the Kwame with the accessories that he never came with. All-American Captain Planet? Okay. Looks like there was an electronic Linka, a grappling hook wheeler. Oh, and there was this cool electronic ring. I do have that. Obviously it's real big because it has it's supposed to have lights and it does have sound, but you would open the little window here. Oh, I do have the Earth one left inside here, but you could take them out and make each ring that you wanted. I think this was the little carrying case for them. Inside here looks like I just have water left inside, but they had all the little disc you could kind of put in there, and it's, oh, now this is the water ring, and it would light up, and you cycle through some sound effects and things. Always did like that, since I probably started losing the real rings, but at least this one did make us light and sound as well. It's a cool one, except it's way too huge. So I don't have a complete collection, and I don't think I'll ever will, since everybody wants an absolute fortune for Captain Planet stuff. I'd love to just have a full collection, because I do love this toy line. I played with it all the time. Again, I just like the idea of the way the powers and things worked. They had their powers in the ring. If they used them to summon Captain Planet, they didn't have their powers anymore, so there was kind of a reason to not leave yourself defenseless like that. Other people couldn't use their rings. There's just kind of some cool, superpower things going on here, even if there was kind of an environmental theme to it, which certainly didn't hurt me. It was good to just kind of know about those sort of things and be aware of that, not being wasteful and all this. I mean, you don't have to go crazy. We recycle everything and everything like that. It was just kind of spreading the message in general of, just to be aware of these issues. But for me as a kid, I just really liked the characters and superpowers and superhero element of it. Made for some really awesome toys. So I like to look at old toys here and new that I collect. So leave a like if you like seeing Captain Planet stuff. I'd love to get a few more pieces to show if I can find anything for a good price. And I'll definitely show it here. So I'll see you in the next video, and the power is yours.